So I now want to introduce you to the box model. You would have heard me talk about a few of these terms before, but here's the content. So for example, if I highlight a paragraph, this is the content here. And then you have what's called padding and a border. So you might remember that we've done border quite a few times. And I'll just show you what that might look like. If we style paragraphs to have a border, we could have 5 pixels solid green, for example. These are the borders. Now the space between the content and the borders is called padding, and then the space between two paragraphs or between two elements is the margin. So let me just show you what I mean. If I add some padding, let's say 10 pixels, you will see that the space between the content and the border has increased. The margin hasn't changed. So now, if we were to change the margin, we could then, for example, let's go for 30 pixels, so it's quite obvious. We can separate them even further, and that's all around. So what's interesting is we could just have the margin going in one way. So let's say we only wanted there to be space between the top and the bottom here. So actually what I might do, instead of having the full margin, I might just go for margin. You can go left, margin right, margin top. I'm just going to go for top. So that's going to mean there's more space between here and here. So between the top of the content and the bottom of the second content. But it will be there won't be that space to the left. There we go. So it's important to remember the difference between these. You have the padding, that's the space in the element, between the element and its border. And then you have the margin that is the space between elements. So what I recommend you do, as always, is just have a go yourself. Try adding in some images, some tables, some lists, and see what happens when you change the margins and the paddings, and make sure you have a border in there so you can see very well what's going on, and play around with what happens if you just, instead of having full padding, you just do padding right, for example. Or, let's go for padding left. The important thing right now is just to play around with this stuff and see how it looks, so you get a feel for how to use it. So have a play around yourself, and then I'll see you in the next lecture.